Teenage Wasteland by Ann Tyler. He used to have very blonde hair, almost white, cut shorter than other children's, so that on his crown a little cowlick always stood up to catch the light. But this was when he was small. As he grew older, his hair grew darker and he wore it longer, past his collar even. It hung in lank, taffy-colored ropes around his face, which was still an endearing face, fine-featured, the eyes an unusual aqua blue. But his cheeks, of course, were no longer round, and a sharp new Adam's apple jogged in his throat when he talked. In October, they called from the private school he attended to request a conference with his parents. Daisy went alone. Her husband was at work. Clutching her purse, she sat in the principal's couch and learned that Donnie was noisy, lazy, and disruptive, always fooling around with his friends. And he wouldn't respond in class. In the past, before her children were born, Daisy had been a fourth-grade teacher. It shamed her now to sit before this principal as a parent, a delinquent parent, a parent who struck Mr. Lanham no doubt as unseeing or uncaring. "It isn't that we're not concerned," she said. "Both of us are, and we've done what we could, whatever we could think of. We don't let him watch TV on school nights. We don't let him talk on the phone till he's finished with his homework. But he tells us he doesn't have any homework, or he did it all in study hall. How are we to know what to believe?" From early October through November, at Mr. Lanham's suggestion, Daisy checked Donnie's assignments every day. She sat next to him as he worked, trying to be encouraging, sagging inwardly as she saw the poor quality of everything he did, the sloppy mistakes in math, the illogical leaps in his English themes, the history questions left blank if they required any research. Daisy was often late starting supper, and she couldn't give as much attention to Donnie's younger sister. You'll never guess what happened in," Amanda would begin, and Daisy would have to tell her, "Not now, honey." By the time her husband Matt came home, she'd be snappish. She would recite the day's hardships, the fuzzy instructions in English, the botched history map, the morass of unsolvable algebra equations. Matt would look surprised and confused, and Daisy would gradually wind down. There was no way really to convey how exhausting all this was. In December, the school called again. This time, they wanted Matt to come as well. She and Matt had to sit on Mr. Lanham's couch like two bad children and listen to the news. Donnie had improved only slightly, raising a D in history to a C and a C in algebra to a B minus. What was worse, he had developed new problems. He had cut class on at least 3 occasions, smoked in the furnace room, helped Sonny Barnett break into a freshman's locker. And last week, during athletics, he and 3 friends had been seen off the school grounds. When they returned, the coach had smelled beer on their breath. Daisy and Matt sat silent, shocked. Matt rubbed his forehead with his fingertips. Imagine, Daisy thought, how they must look to Mr. Lanham, an overweight housewife in a cotton dress and a too tall, too thin insurance agent in a baggy frayed suit. Failures, both of them, the kind of people who are always hurrying to catch up.